So good morning, November the 20th, 2014. This is CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Today is day number 26 in the week number 13. So let's get started. First of all, good morning. Welcome back to this class. Today is day number 26 into week number 13. Now it's almost time for me to start doing the review of the semester for you. But before I do that, let me double check if there is anyone who would like to do the bonus work, which is the in-class forum today. Okay, I'm going back to week number 13. Okay, week number 13. So what I need to do is to check, first of all, if you have signed up here in the Dr. Webb's Q&A hotline. I just got one student, okay, Cindy, all right, next Monday. Okay, so you signed up in last week, right, for today. Okay, thank you very much, thank you. And then have you done the message to the whole class, which is in the public discussion forum? So we have one next Monday, we have one today. So I'm going back to the public discussion forum. First of all, I can see that there's one sign up here. Okay, that is the assessment plan, and then the questionnaire, and then done the survey. I tried to choose question assessment scheme, portfolio, and then assessment scheme. Okay, Talia, have you said that you sign up in this Q&A forum? What? Will you sign up? Okay, is it this one or the assessment plan? Okay. Yes, it's all right because I have not seen that. It's okay. Are you ready today? Okay, that's good. And the next thing you need to do after the sign up, as is informed by the teacher's message and also my discussions in class, it's to send the whole class a message about your in-class forum. You did either in last week's public discussion forum or in this week's public discussion forum. Okay, so that the whole class will be informed of the discussion's topic you want to have during your hosting in-class forum. Now let's go to the public discussions forum of last week. This week, okay, all right. So you said it in this week's public discussions forum, because according to my impressions, I have not received that, so sorry for that. Okay, here we go. This is the topic today, right? It's going to be done as a team, right? All right, so you need to signify this as teamwork. Because if you do not do it as a team, I would consider this mostly as an individual work, okay? So you have to modify this to make it sure that this is a teamwork, all right? Change, yeah, okay, yes, thank you very much. You will have 30 minutes time to do that, and I'm going to pass the microphone to you at 10:30, okay? So allow me to start doing some housekeeping. I'm very much glad that quite a number of you came to ask me questions, and I do believe it's very important that you ask me questions either through the Dr. Webb's Q&A hotline or come to my office. So let me try to present the following clarifications about your work in this last part of the semester. Now you know that after finishing your learning contract number 3, you have to complete a learning portfolio, right? So according to the teacher's message of this week, as I have once again informed you, so you have to perform a number of items, okay? As you can see that at this point, you finish learning contract 1 and 2, all the grading that's already been visible to you. And then I will finish grading learning contract number 3 mostly by this Saturday, okay? And then you know that you have a choice. In the past, I would give full credit to all the students for one learning contract. And this mostly is learning contract number 1. Because normally, this is the first learning contract, you start doing it, and you might have a lot of things you might not be able to understand clearly, and you might not be earning your points as expected. So, in the past semester, it's my practice that I would give full score to all the students, 10% to the first learning contract, no matter what is your actual earned score, okay? But it happens that some of the students have not fulfilled the basic requirement, that is, they did not submit anything, all right? If they did not submit anything in a particular learning contract, they will not have the chance to have that full score. So in that case, if I choose learning contract number 1 to be the contract you're going to receive the full score, maybe some of you will not have a chance to have that full score. So this semester, as I said in last particular class, I will give full score to one learning contract of your choice, okay? And you will tell me which learning contract you want to have full score, because by the end of this week, I should be able to finish grading the 3 learning contracts, and you know how much you earn in each learning contract. So this is a very important thing. So you need to get informed. So no matter which learning contract you choose, as long as you have submitted all the items for that learning contract, you will have full score. Any question for that? So you need to do something. By next week, you will see there is a link telling me I choose this learning contract, or which learning contract you choose. Then I'm going to look into it. Now, if I do not see any of the choice indicated, I will take learning contract number 1. Is it clear? All right? So the reasons why this is done is because, as I said, the 3 learning contracts are supposed to be training for you, and it does not give you a lot of points, only 10% per contract. So even though you lose some points in one of the contract, because of these strategies of policy, you should not lose a lot of points, right? Because as long as you do the work, you have full credit for one learning contract. So the second thing that I need to tell you is, some of you are very hardworking. You really know what is meant by learning portfolio. You asked me this question: can we reuse some of the journals and blogs that we did in the first, in the second, and third learning contract in our learning portfolio? And my answer is definitely. This is the purpose of the learning portfolio. You have to go back to collect the work you have done in the first, in the second, and in the third learning contract. And based on the feedback you receive there, modify it and improve it and put it in your learning portfolio. That's the purpose of learning. It's not just a piece of homework. You did it and you submit it, you got a grade and you forget it. If that is what you believe, I'm sorry, this does not work in this class. In this class, the purpose of learning portfolio is to give you a chance to go back to what you did and look at what you did, collect the feedback from both my comments and also your fellow students' comment, and do a better work and put it in your learning portfolio. Look, the learning portfolio is going to give you 20%, okay? The original syllabus is going to give you 20%, all right? And you can upgrade it to 30% based on Plan A and Plan B structure. So it's a very advantageous scheme, because even though you have not done a good work on the way of picking up your learning contracts, it's okay, because no one is perfect. No one is expected to earn the perfect points. But the idea is, it is not that once you have done and improved the versions, you can change your grade in the original learning contract. No. What you earn in the original learning contract, you keep it there, except for the full score scheme. What you can do to improve on the work you did is on the learning portfolio. So this is very important. Definitely, you can reuse, and you have to reuse the artifact you produced in the first 3 learning contract. Otherwise, your wasting your time. Okay? The purpose of this learning is you always come back and to reflect on what you did and look at the comments to see what you did not do well and you improve on it. Okay? You understand the meaning of it. You have to reduce the artifacts you did in the first free learning contract in your learning portfolio. But at the end of doing it, it will not affect the grade you receive in the first free learning contract because it's already graded. It will definitely help you to improve the grade in your learning portfolio. Okay? You got me? Are you with me? Alright? Do you understand? Do I have to speak in Chinese once again? Alright? For those of you who are smart enough, you should be able to understand that. Okay, number 3. Now this is very important. For my observations of grading of your work, some of you are very smart, but you make silly mistakes. What does it mean? Now if I were a student, if I want to get a very good grade, I will follow the expected rules of the teachers. And what are the expected rules of your work? For example, in doing your journals, in doing your report, and in doing your blog. What are they? Now, allow me to say that if I do not remind you before you submit your learning portfolio, I hate to do this, but I have to remind you because I hate to see you lose points again. Many of you, when you do the journals, you put a lot of work there. That you do not structure your work according to the expected learning pattern. I could not see your observations. I could not see your interpretations. I could not see your applications. Do you think you can earn better grade if you do not follow this rule? Do you think you can get good grade because you insist on this way? No, because the way it's structured in observations, interpretations, and applications, it helps you develop a habit of thinking. Now, if I, as a teacher, do not see you put things into this structure, I can hardly tell how mature you are in doing that. And so, allow me to say that I hate to take your points away when I do not see your OIA, but I have to, because you have to learn the lessons. Otherwise, you will not learn that. All right? This is very important pattern. The second thing is, when you write a report, what do you have to follow? What? If you read the teacher's message weeks before you submit it, I very much often emphasize that you have to follow the guidelines. And where is the guideline? You can click the link to see that. And when you follow the guidelines, what does it mean? You need to structure your finding in terms of the O, the I, and the A from your report, from your discussion. Now, if I do not see that, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Any suggestion? Thank you. So it's very important because in your learning portfolio, it's part of your accomplishment. So when I see if you choose 30% here, I really do not want to take your points away from that. So be smart, all right? So this is the second questions I have to answer because I try to discuss with some of your students and be very enthusiastic in telling me that I hate to do this because notes now I have done a good work and I did not get a very good grade. And I asked them, can you read that for me from the teacher's message? Oh, I didn't read that. I think I just do it this way, it's very good. Well, I think this is something I have to remind you because as a teacher, every time before you submit something, I emphasize that. And another thing, do you remember what I said? Before you submit something, give yourself a grade first. And how are you going to give yourself a grade? Use the rubrics. Give yourself a grade and pass your work to your fellow students, who's the learning partner and teammate, and ask him or her to give you a grade based on the rubric. And then to see if there is any differences. If you have not done that, it's going to be a setup for not expect a grade. So this is what I'm trying to remind you, okay? Because for me, as a teacher, the first grade learning content is nothing. It's just a learning process. But when you come to the learning portfolio, and when you come to the learn to learn activity, do you remember what you need to do in the learn to learn activity? 10 journals, 5 blocks. And if you're not structuring those journals into the OIA format, you're putting me in a very difficult position, okay? This is 15 points, all right? For those smart kids, you know that what is meant by that, all right? So if you're not following this rule, it's very hard to give you a good grade, because for the fail, a lot of the students in this class have been doing a lot of good work, all right? Except for the fact that because of the issue of privacy, I have to take away the practice of showing you all the work of the students in class in the past and let you watch and look at the work of other students. So I am trying to take this time to tell you these 2 very important points. When you do your journals, if you're not structuring the journal in the context of OIA, you might be setting yourself up for low grade, okay? And if you're doing a report and you're not following the guidelines of the report, which is a continuation to OIA, you're making it difficult for you to earn a good grade. So, any particular reminder, this is something very important, all right? And another thing that is very important, it's the assessment scheme, all right? The assessment scheme tells me if you want 30% of the learning portfolio, or if you just want 20% of your learning portfolio. And allow me to tell you that if I do not hear from you, as I said here, I will take it you want Plan A, which is the original syllabus, okay? Do you hear me? All right? So it's very important that I inform you one more time, because as a teacher, I do not want to be mean in giving you a good grade, but you have to follow the expected rules. Otherwise, I could not see how you're going to do the work. Now, I very much respect your personal freedom to choose a format, but if you're not following that, it's very hard to say that, right? So, it's very good. So, having said that, I want you to spend 10 minutes time today to attend a class just as if you were attending a class in Harvard University, okay? This is a first year class for any students at Harvard, but they look like graduate students, all right? In Harvard, they have a very famous method called CASE method. The CASE method requires students in that class to get prepared before the class. And the way to get prepared is something very similar to what I've been structuring in this course. You need to select topic of your interest. You need to get your topic of interest and build it as a case of your own. And you need to present the case to your whole class as a kind of in-class forum. Okay? So, and then when you are in the class, you become the host. And the teacher will help you. And today, what I'm going to show you is the 2007 versions of this in Harvard class, all right? Remember, it's the first year student class. Now, we are not Harvard, but we're going through a process to get you to be stimulated to become active learner. So, are you ready?
First approaching a class, it's 8:30 in the morning, I'm walking off the class, I'm about ready to teach. The first thing I'm thinking about is, where are they? What's going to be on the students' minds?
The morning before teaching is an important period for me. I have to go through my whole pre-teaching ritual. I have my pre-teaching trance.
If you watch professional baseball players, most really good baseball players, when they come to bat, they do the exact same movements as they prepare for the ball.
I've taught here for 22 years and I'm still nervous every day I walk into the classroom. I still don't know exactly how the discussion will play out.
The 10 minutes before class are a really fascinating time because you've got about 15 things you want to get done in those 10 minutes.
Just before class, I'm usually brushing up on case facts. I just need to be firm in my particular opinion because, there are 89 other opinions that are going to come out during the classroom that I need to either agree with or disagree with.
I might kind of skim through some of my notes or kind of think about, whether in my learning team somebody brought up an issue that I hadn't thought about before.
Second thing I'm thinking about is, how am I going to get started? What's the opening question? But equally important, who's the opening student? Who's going to be the first person who I ask to lay out the issues?
And as the second hand passes the 12 on the clock, we get going.
All right, good morning. Our first real taste of competitive dynamics is the case on Holland Sweetener Company in the aspartame business. Your role is that of Winfred Vermees. You're the CEO of Holland Sweetener Company. You're entering the market for aspartame. For the first time, you're facing NutraSweet with competition. And you've got to ask yourself, how do I think NutraSweet is going to respond? With a price war or with normal competition? What do you say?
To me, the reason that this method is so effective is that it really mirrors what managers do in real life.
We put the student in the seat of that manager or that employee confronting a problem.
It's fun, right? And there's a lot of active engagement. It's hard in a lot of ways as well, though. Nothing is spoon-fed to you. You've got to be prepared and you've got to come ready to play every day.
The most fulfilling classroom experiences at HBS, you can tell, come with intense preparation from all sides.
It's crucial. If you aren't prepared for the class, you can't engage as much. You can't have a kind of friendly, dynamic discussion with all your classmates.
Individual preparation is a solo affair. You go through the case, try to master the details, develop the supporting analysis, come up with recommendations.
I'm trying to develop a ritual. I think getting a bit of an overview at first and then trying to fill in the details is definitely a better way than just starting at the beginning and trying to read all the way through to the end.
Sometimes just working back of envelope numbers, sometimes getting into in-depth detail, creating full write-ups that then I bring to my learning team in the morning. I really try to really imagine myself as the protagonist, and it really does require a concerted effort to do that.
The day before a case, you'll find people in Spangler or in Baker or in kind of the dorm lounges saying, oh, what was your opinion about that? Or what did you think about this? So it's really kind of an open dialogue.
We have a folder for each of you. The overview, one-page summary, a board plan, and then at least my shot at the
Faculty prepare far more for a case discussion than any individual student. I find it takes me 5-10 times as much time as it typically takes a student.
There are cases that I've taught numerous times, and I get as excited about it the 10th time I teach it as I do the first time, maybe more so, because I know what the possibilities are and I know what the richness is.
Here we'll be giving the students particularly to be better at analyzing individual competitors, understanding the generic threats to the company's success, and we'll be introducing them to tools, particularly the tool of game theory.
I usually put them in the position of Wilford Vermees and try to get you to think about, will it be a price war?
The thing that's always impressed me is the extent to which there are actually debates in teaching groups. That here a set of people trained in the same disciplines around the same materials can have very different views about the best way to orchestrate a case, or even different answers to the question, what's this case really about?
I expect students to give their heart and soul to the case. Most importantly, I expect the students to put themselves in the shoes of the protagonist of the case and ask themselves seriously, what would I do? And I want them to think very seriously, what would they do if they really had that situation in their lives?
These are questions where there are different perspectives. You can marshal the facts in the case and reach very different conclusions. So part of what students do is they decide day in and day out, and they get in the habit of making decisions.
NutraSweet patented the use and blend of this sugar replacement called.
The learning team experience has been absolutely invaluable to the case method. I'm not sure I could have made it through the first semester without it.
Because I assume that there would be 5% reduction in the US price, then HSC will always want to enter. And
we hold ourselves to pretty high standards as far as being able to come up with our rationale for why we will do what we are going to do.
I'm still not buying. I just don't get the fact that if for Coke and Pepsi, a competitive advantage of the stuff that everybody's buying now is with the NutraSweet label on their can. They have no other option to go to anything else unless they completely change off of our product and can't.
What we then try and bring to it again is a different perspective, a different viewpoint, hopefully a different approach to looking at the same information.
Competition, the fact that we're neck and neck in the diet industry, and use that to really fuel a rivalry that use NutraSweet.
We have someone in our learning team who's from Argentina and who works in a sugar factory in Argentina. Just like every case, it turns out there's someone that has some direct personal experience.
We have people from different backgrounds, so there are a couple finance guys, I'm a marketing person, there's somebody from a tech background. So it's very helpful to kind of bounce ideas off of each other in the mornings when we're really prepared to have a debate and have a discussion in class.
You could also think about a signaling effect. If you don't send a right signal to the market to this new entrant, then you probably have many new small entrants in the future. So
it's not uncommon that someone will say in class, when I first read the case, I thought X. But after talking to people, some people in my learning team, I've actually evolved my thinking to the following.
So I think in the learning teams, we want students to engage some of the same muscles that they will in the classroom to say, here's an opportunity for me to go out on a limb, all right? I have this idea and I'd like your feedback.
As Winford Vermees, looking at your competitor, looking at your NutraSweet, how do you expect they will respond? With a price war or with normal competition? What do you say? Jalissa.
I actually think that they will respond to the price war.
Why?
Particularly, well, if you look at Europe and Canada in a vacuum, you would think that they're going to lose money in short. I have the case in front of me, I have the write-up in front of me, and I'm really looking at what are the key points. I mean, in my head, I'm already thinking like, all right, top 3 things that I want to get across in my 30 seconds.
And exactly how is the price war going to accomplish that end?
The knowledge that you might be called upon to make an intelligent, cogent argument in front of people whose opinion you care about does motivate you in those off hours.
Who sees it very differently? Yes, Mark, what's going on?
I think they're very confident in their brand and strategy and they don't want to turn this into a commodity product.
We accept everyone's backgrounds and everyone's perspectives to the point where we can actually hear them out. And I feel like everyone does a really good job of listening to the point where they can think about it and say whether they agree or disagree, and then coming up with a compelling reason as to why they agree or disagree.
Kara, in or out?
And this is where I think the behavioral issues are overwhelming. They're going to continue to fight because they've already invested in this. So I think they're going to just kind of keep throwing good money after bad.
I know I cannot compete with NutraSweet on price, but I might be able to compete with them on brand. So what I would try to do is try to do some customer research and try to really get the HSC product out there and really get it to the point where there's some critical mass as far as brand recognition, and then approach Pepsi and say, hey Pepsi, here's an additional level of aspartame that you can have to compete with Coke who's using the NutraSweet.
Kara, why don't you role play Pepsi? How do you respond to Phil?
I have a couple of problems. I mean, one, your product isn't branded yet, and it takes quite a bit of... I see that you're trying to give me a point of differentiation to go after my competitor, but to be honest, I just don't have the faith in you yet to be willing to take that gamble.
I think fun is one of the most underrated aspects of the case method. Learning shouldn't always be difficult. Learning shouldn't be painful. There's a certain element of joy that comes with learning.
Jim, you had another proposal.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to Pepsi and say, I'm only going to work with you. If you just work with me, then I'll lower your price and you're going to get the competitive advantage from working with me, whereas NutraSweet's not going to have to match that because they're just working with Coke.
That sounds a little bit better.
I've found that I learned a ton from my professors, but I really learned the most from my fellow section mates.
You never, ever, ever, ever enter a price war if you don't have a credible low-cost position. If you ever do that and I worry about it, I will deny that I ever knew you were Harvard Business School. Okay? Ever, ever. And very important, what Samir is saying, they entered without any advantage. There was not a superior gap between cost and what was to pay.
That was a major lesson of the case. And in addition, it drew on concepts we had built up over the previous half dozen cases. So it showed that things had kind of come together for a set of people.
We'll continue to look at competitive dynamics on Thursday when we look at the fascinating battle between British satellite broadcasting and Sky Television. Thanks.
My favorite classes are those where the debate is still raging 20 minutes after class, and we can't stop it.
You really give a lot in those 80 minutes as far as listening and vocalizing your perspective. You really start to see why the case method works so well, because you're surprised with how much you remember from the case, but also from what people's responses were to the case.
There are very specific situations that any manager is going to experience at some point in their career.
We teach people in many ways the courage to act under uncertainty. The facts in a case are always limited. The amount of information you have at hand is by design quite compressed. You're working under great time pressure. We're asking people to learn how to take a stand.
It's not a passive process, and frankly, management's not a passive process. They get to try out many of the component processes of management in the classroom, and they get to build muscles around things like judgment.
The answer to most questions is, it depends. If one can leave here understanding under what circumstances you would go left and under what circumstances you would go right, then you've got a depth of knowledge, and you've got it kind of in your gut as well as in your head.
I think Harvard Business School is the finest teaching institution in the world. And I don't just mean among business schools. Teaching is in the fabric of the culture. We go back in a long tradition, started probably even before Socrates, but we can certainly go back to there. We want to continue in that tradition. Some things never get old.
Well, thanks for watching. They have new versions. Now, the idea behind this is what we call discussion-based teaching and discussion-based learning, particularly team learning, all right? So the reasons why you become a part of your network here, your learning partner's partner, your teammates, is to give you a chance to experience a little bit of this, okay, because you're first-year students. Now, we have one team who's going to help us to understand the context of digital divide today, and it's going to be a big challenge if you want your fellow students to get in touch with you and discuss with your topic. Now, may I invite this team today? It's Patty's team, Ryan's team, Frank's team, and also Winnie's team. Okay? You have two microphones here, and you have 30 minutes time to get our fellow students engaged. All right?
Good morning everybody, and Reactive 5. Today our topic is, what is digital device? First I want to ask, have you guys ever heard digital device before?
Yes.
Thank you. I think most of you are heard because I have given another presentation before. And for today I'm going to let you know what is digital device first, and it means our right was divided by two sides. One side is someone got IT resources and they have an access to a network, and the other one they don't have, just like this photo. They're all in the same generation and they're all in the same city, but they have different
different treatment. And now I'm going to show you a video about digital divide, and this video is about the impacts of digital device.
Hello. Did you know there are lots of disadvantaged school kids, about 2 million, who can't get access to a computer or the internet at home? This means they are missing out on everything computers have to offer. To find out why computers are so important, I've decided to conduct an experiment. Okay, you two! I'll need a few props, of course, another one of me and a laptop computer. Just one though, as the other me can't have one. Experiment 1. Education and learning. As you can see, we both learn lots at school, but when we're at home, because Kid B doesn't have a computer, only Kid A can keep learning and developing. So, computers are vital for education and learning. Without them, the digital divide widens. Experiment 2, understanding technology. Networking, paying bills, banking, buying stuff, sharing photos and videos, and loads more. Look at what Kid A can do, and Kid B can't. Computers are already a part of everyday life. Access to them now and in the future is crucial for everyone. And in 10 years' time, we'll be using technology that hasn't even been invented yet. Experiment 3, opening up the world.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. Can computers help make it easier to learn about our planet?
With a computer, I can explore the mysteries of space. Or find out how a fishing boat works. Without one, what's the other me do?
Computers really can open up to us, helping us communicate, create, and discover more about the planet and its people.
Experiment 4, unlocking potential. I'm only little. Will computers help me when I get a job? Of course they will. I'll need to use computers to be a doctor, a builder, electrician, photographer, businessman, can't talk, I'm doing an experiment, or an engineer. Computers expand opportunity, equipping the future workforce with the skills they need to get on and unlock their potential. Which one of us would you employ? Things are changing pretty fast. Computers are becoming a part of everything we do. Millions of kids are missing out on their future now. Can you stand by and just let that happen?
Okay, thank you for watching this video, and now I think you guys will have some definitions of digital divide and its impacts of digital device. And now I'm going to invite you guys to discuss 2 questions with us. Mostly the first question you can get some answers from the radio, and the next question you have to think critically by yourself. This question we decide because we have to following the sign note number 1 to describe the importance of IT and ethical issues of IT. So now you guys can discuss these 2 questions, and you will have 20 minutes to discuss these 2 questions. Anyone of you have any idea?
Remember, you have 2 microphones, so one on this side, the other on the other side.
Now you have about 5 minutes to discuss. Thank you.
Next time I will sponsor this by providing a number of cans over there. Is there anyone who is going to respond to give them a can of Coke? Sometimes you might have to face the questions differently to make it easy for your fellow student to give you a response.
What do you think of digital divide in Macau? Do you think Macau has digital divide? Hey, thank you, Ryan.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, I think Macau is a very rich place. They have low digital divide in Macau. So I think it's very good.
Thank you, Ryan. Hey, Winnie, how about you? What is your opinion in question one?
I think in question one, I think digital divide can solve the problems completely to let us know the situation of problems. And if good, we can do better more. In fact, we also can very easy to alter. So digital device is affect us a lot. It is also an important phase in our daily life.
And how about you guys? How about you, Ryan?
I'm going to talk about question two. Okay, in my opinion, maybe we can build up a library for everyone. It can let the other people have more chance to connect to the internet to have to let the digital divide affect more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
So I remember I shared with you one very important example in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a very rich place, but the number of students, they have a family, they really cannot afford a computer for the kids to study at home. So normally, they have a very good resources in school. Well, computer, internet access, but when they go home, they do not have any such resources to continue their study. And they really do not have that luxury to go online to look up related YouTube videos. So the government in Hong Kong sponsor two major organizations to look into the problem and to come up with the solutions. And one of the organizations with the name the Web Organic come up with a package that as long as the family is okay to produce $100 per month, okay? And they are going to give the child a new set of computer with unlimited internet access. They're going to install it for them. And they can also bring in university students, okay, from Hong Kong UST, from Hong Kong U, to go to the home to teach the student how to use the tools and to give them tutorials. And those university students are just like you, who just joined the program called Service Learning. So this is an example of how the digital divide in Hong Kong is being breached with the effort of the government, with the effort of the individuals, and with the effort of non-governmental organizations. Now in Macau, I do not know if we have similar organizations. But in Macau, if you can organize a self-help group, so you can go to some poor regions in Macau and help the kids learn with your expertise, it might be meaningful. So this is one example. You can read and watch the video from the resources there. And that's my sharing here. And I appreciate your very, very good questions there.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. And how about you guys? Thank you.
we are living in the information age, we have to use the computers and internet more often, such as studying and also the communication. If we don't have the digital devices, we're not able to connect to the work.
Thank you. Now, from this point of view, we'll ask Frank to have our team answers for these questions.
Importance of IT. And as we know, and the IT is very important in our life, and such as education, and we are using even Moodle and ePortfolio in our daily life, and do something article or sharing in this. And the most important in our life is online banking. Have we shop online and such as Taobao, eBay to buy something? Yes. I think I can't live without the online banking because I open shopping online and healthcare and in our life and hospital is very use it often and do some great use electronic equipment and can very accurately to have some operation and to do some operations. Thank you.
And for this photo, this is a news photo for 18th of November this year, and this photo is doctors wearing the 3D eyeglasses to have surgery. This is new technologies for the healthcare area. So now you can see how important the IT and how it affects digital divide. If we use IT more, then we need to bridge the digital divide more.
Okay, generation gap. Imagine you are stay at home with your family members, and you are stay at your home and playing computer, and you then talk with your grandma or your father and mother, and I think you will get stranger with your family members, and you are talking with your online friends. I think it is bad in our life. Education gap. Okay. And we can see these two pictures. And this one is maybe in developed countries they have computer room and have a class in computer room. And in this they only have a blackboard and city and maybe in South Africa. They are very in we can compare these two pictures. Obviously, this is very poverty areas, and then in business game, and these two people, and this man have type machines, and the woman has a laptop, and this is
Okay, thank you, Frank. And for the question 2, have you guys get any opinions on question 2? How to bridge the digital divide? Just so easy to ask me. Just like Ryan, he set up to build up some libraries to bridge the digital divide. And what is your opinion? Yeah, I can read for you. About that side.
some government organization would collect the old digital devices from, for example, from a car and donate them to the China, the more rural areas.
Very good idea to renew the resources to the poor people to let them get some access to internet and computers. Bye. I think the government can build up the free Wi-Fi in the China. Then many people can use the technology to use the. Thank you. The government can build up some free Wi-Fi, just like Zhuhai. As you can see, if you're working in Zhuhai, you can see some government free Wi-Fi that just enter your phone number, you can get the free Wi-Fi access. And any other opinions? Thank you. I think the digital divide always happen in the underdeveloped countries, and I think the other countries and other developed countries can help them and have some operation with them to give them, to help them to input some resources to buy their digital equipment, and the developed countries can call their citizens to send them some old digital equipment for them to use. Okay, thank you very much. Any other opinions? How about you, Winnie? What is your opinion?
In question 2, I think digital divide is also difficult to reach because it is like a gap between rich and poor. With the rapid development of the world, some countries develop faster, some countries are still poor. And however, if people have ability of IT but they will not do something for its ethics and help to the poor in IT, give them chance to have ability about it, I think it is a solution for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. And for this question, our team have give up some answers for this. Because our question is set as, for me, is set as for price and performance value. So I get the answers from this one. Not only, have you guys ever heard the price of iPhone 6, 16 gigabytes, the price? From the reference of online, we can say that the make costs for iPhone 6, 16 gigabytes just $200, but its sale price is $649. What can you say this is? Because they get some interest, they get more money from that because the bank of Apple. And some of us will just say, why we have to buy this? I don't know, because it's from Apple and this is iPhone. It's very useful and its system is very fast. But for me, I think it's the one cost from the digital device because the company, they rate up the price mostly, and some of them cannot, some of the presidents, some of the citizens cannot get this technology, cannot get this phone. So I think this from the price and performance value to make the digital device. So for this, I will just have our conclusions for that. Thank you for all your answers. Thank you, and most of you give us the answer is the bridge of the out renews. We can give some renew resources from the developed country and put them to the underdevelopment country to let them have all resources to use. And some for us, we can, for individual, we can bring our laptop to share in class, and we can renew some resources to the poor people, and we can install like just what that girl said. We can build up some country free Wi-Fi to let others have access to the internet, and also we can develop our network access and our technology in the government that we can push other technology products such as computers online. Let's have some Hong Kong libraries that give up some online 24 computers to others to use. And we can generate our students and educate our students how to use internet and how we can give up some insights for internet. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very stimulating discussion. Thank you.
Sorry, and here I have some video for the libraries which the digital device and references under here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. By the way, the PowerPoint should be on the public discussion forum, right? So everyone could get access to them. Thank you for your contributions to the discussions and learning of this class. So we have another team next Monday. It's not easy, because sometimes when you do not receive response from your fellow students, you have to make it up yourself. You see, this university used to be a teaching university in which teaching, that means teacher-centered classroom is the practice nowadays. The student's responsibility seems to, from the very beginning, is to listen, and they seldom have the initiative to participate in class. But by doing the discussion-based teaching, when the terms of facilitation becomes your part to get your fellow student engaged, sometimes the cultural element is very important. Your fellow student may not feel comfortable to give ideas, and you have to facilitate it. And that's the reasons why in this class I can hardly go directly into discussion-based teaching from the very beginning. I have to slightly positions the transitions between from the teacher center to the student center. It is only in one semester in the 3 to 4 years of my teaching that I encounter a class that are very active. They become comfortable enough to be engaged. I still have the video of that. A bunch of students, maybe I'll take it up sometime for you to watch. They really select a topic of interest from the first contract, second contract, and the third learning contract. They start doing the forum. And at that time, they came up with a very interesting group. I have fewer than 10 groups in that class, and they say instead of final exam, what if we do, each group, do an in-class forum, facilitations, and we need to engage at least 5 students to talk about our topic. And since we have less than 10 groups, and each group needs to do something similar, under the table, they have already talked to many students before the forum, and they know who's going to ask questions. Because if I helped you, and you're going to help me too, and we win, and we earn a lot of points, and we don't need to have a final exam. And I find it very interesting, but not frequently that I'm going to encounter student groups like this, and they did it on their own, and they proposed to me. And I said, wow, that's good, because I'm learning a lot from you, because they did a lot of very interesting topics. Secret, many of those students are already in HC, Arnold's College, and they went overboard already and got a lot of good experience from that. And that is a very interesting challenge. But I cannot do it every semester because of the cultural differences. All right? Oh yes, one more thing I remember. Please, when I invite you to do your learning portfolio, you're not supposed to do it in your Mahara. You're not supposed to do it in anything else, except for this course, in the wiki, okay, that I provide you on week number 11 through week number 15. Now, once you finish your wiki-based portfolio for this course, you're free to move everything there to your personal portfolio system, like the Mahara system. You have it. Okay? So remember, it is in the wiki portfolio here that you are invited to do something. Alright? It's from this link. Do not do it anything else, because I received 2 emails late last evening asking me for help. They asked me, where should I got an account of e-portfolio to do my learning portfolio? I say, no, you do not need anything. Come back here, click on this link, build your portfolio using the wiki pages here. Alright? Remember, this is where you need to build your learning portfolio. Alright? And one more thing, do you remember what you need to do in your learning portfolio? Okay? In this semester, we have 6 possible course intended learning outcomes, we call it cycles. And you're supposed to select 4 out of these 6 and build your 4 silos evidence of learning pages in your learning portfolio. So the minimum requirement is when I click into your learning portfolio, I should see your 4 silo linked. And I click into each silo, I should see the following. First, you copy and paste the silo statement there. Second is what we call my interpretations of the silo. It is how you interpret what is required of you in a cycle. That means what you should do, what you should produce to prove that you accomplished the cycle. Then, after my interpretation is my artifacts. That means the work you have done, you collect your artifacts from the first learning contract, second learning contract, third learning contract, or some extra thing you do during the portfolio period of time. And the last item you need to produce is my reflection. Okay, so my interpretations, my artifacts, and my reflections. My reflection tells me, and tells you, what you have learned after you have done everything you believe is important to accomplish the cycle. So for each cycle, you have to do 4. You need to produce my interpretations of the cycle, my artifacts to prove I did accomplish the cycle, and my reflection. These are the 3 minimum things, all right? And read the teacher's message of, again, so this week too, and last week, you can see that. Now I'm going to remind you one more time in my teacher's message in the coming week, okay? Okay, now allow me to take attendance for the day. I hope you like the case method, because by using the case method, you're putting your persons in charge of your own learning. It's not just you always follow the order from the teacher, particularly in the GE course. The GE course will consider the process of learning as important as the content you learn. Alright? So Halia is here, Prolia is not here, Ada, thank you. And then is Ryan Wong, thank you. Jenny, thank you. Jackie, thank you. White Palm, thank you. C Home, not here today. And then one folk is not here. Beatrix, thank you. And then it's Fish, thank you. And then Angela, thank you. Erika, thank you. Ruby, thank you. C, thank you. Elisa, thank you. Locka, thank you. Stephen, thank you. Terrence, thank you. Winnie Earn, thank you. Tom is not here today. Dixon, thank you. Winnie Ho, thank you. Gideon, thank you. And then Fred, thank you. Michelle, thank you. And then it's Annie, thank you. Cindy, thank you. Neon, thank you. Ryan Lamb, thank you. Lester, you're not here today. Kelvin, thank you. And then Gayan, thank you. Hanson, thank you. And then Jessica, thank you. And then Tiki, thank you. Charlie, thank you. Iris, thank you very much. Now remember, you still have next week and the week after next week to do your in-class forum. This is a bonus work, but this bonus work will give you 10% of the final grade. You can boost up a lot, all right? It's really up to you if you want to take this chance to boost your grade. It's very valuable, and you have to try and experience that, how to facilitate the discussions. It is not just the effort of the team, it's also the effort of the students to understand, okay? Do you want to be Susan? Do you want to be Robert? Remember that. Deep learning versus surface learning, it's always a choice on the individuals. Next week, when we come back, we're going to provide another perspective on the course review. I'm going to put some effort into telling you the meaning of critical thinking, all right? So, any other questions? Next Monday, it will be this group, right? Thank you. Are you going to do that? Try it. Try the best. Are you going to do that? Thank you. Make sure you sign up in this week's Douglas forum, and make sure you send a message in the public discussion forum with at least one PowerPoint and some videos. Okay? Are you going to do that? It's a good chance. Boost up 10%. Perk up your heart. Okay? Don't worry much about it. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Today is day number 26. And that's it for today's CISG 113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Until next Monday, stay tuned.